El nuevo documental de 50 Cent sobre el ascenso y la caída de Diddy llegó a Netflix el martes y explotó de inmediato. Está repleto de momentos explosivos, imágenes nunca antes vistas y entrevistas con personas que alguna vez estuvieron profundamente dentro del mundo de Diddy.
Allege in this documentary that they believe that Diddy was very jealous of Tupac. And they pretty much go through everything from the quad incident and Tupac believing that Puffy was behind it, like he said in the Vibe interview.
You think Puffy was involved in the shooting?
Only they can answer that question. I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine. I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? I believe so. I do believe so. I have proof, things that I can say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. Because you seen what I said in the Vibe article. I basically bowed out and was going to go ahead about my life. The next issue, that wasn't even the next issue, because them cowards waited about 4 issues before they got their story together. 4 issues later, half of New York is commenting on me getting shot. And before, they was all like, we didn't see nothing. In the first issue, read it, Vibe viewers. Nobody seen shit. The 4th issue, when they came back with a reply, everybody knew what I did. They knew what I said. I was acting. Who gets shot 5 times in acts? Oh, I didn't get shot 5 times in their vision. I only got shot once because they found the bullet. The police found it, but now they the cops. Now they doing detective work. They found the bullet. Oh, you found the bullet, huh? So what is this other shit in me then? What was the doctors talking about? What? Can you explain these other holes in me? How'd I get gunpowder all over me? That insulted my intelligence. So yes, I did say Thug Life was there. Yes, I bowed out, all of that. But when they said that, they breathed new life in me.
En el segundo episodio de Sean Combs' The Reckoning, antiguos empleados y artistas de Bad Boy Records empiezan a contar una versión muy diferente de lo que ocurrió en torno a las muertes de Biggie Smalls y Tupac. Afirman que Diddy estuvo mucho más involucrado de lo que la gente jamás supo, con testimonios del rapero Mark Curry, de la ex esposa de Craig Mack, Rosanna Johnson, y del cofundador de Bad Boy, Kirk Burrow. La serie pinta un retrato de Diddy aprovechándose de los artistas y echando leña al fuego de la rivalidad este-oeste que definió el hip hop de los años 90.
We are even hearing from Greg Kading, the detective that worked on Tupac and Biggie's case in this documentary. He is the investigator that did that proffer agreement with Keepy D way back in 2008, where Keepy D alleged that Diddy tried to offer him $1 million to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. And Tupac's trial with Keepy D is coming up very soon in early 2026. And we know that Diddy's name has been dropped at least 200 times during these proceedings already.
Suge and Puff created the atmosphere for both of those guys to lose their lives.
I honestly, when I look back on it, if he trusted Sean more, it would have been better. But he didn't trust him as much as the way Sean says they were best friends after he was dead. No, I didn't see that during the time we were working with him.
Y eso es solo una parte. El documental suelta secretos tan secretos, convirtiéndolo en una de las cosas más reveladoras que la gente ha visto sobre Diddy. Diddy se encuentra actualmente en una prisión de New Jersey, todos lo sabemos, Fort Dix, cumpliendo una condena de 4 añitos para que descanse ahí después de ser declarado culpable a principios de este año por 2 cargos relacionados con el transporte de personas para actividades ilegales. Un jurado lo absolvió de los cargos más graves, incluidos los de asociación delictiva y trata de personas, lo que nosotros conocemos como el RICO Act. Pero los titulares no han parado desde finales del 2023. Fue entonces cuando su ex, Casi Ventura, presentó una enorme demanda alegando años de abuso. Desde ese momento se han presentado docenas de demandas civiles más. Diddy niega rotundamente todo.
Sean Diddy Combs have now sent a cease and desist letter to Netflix.
That's right. They are demanding it not release a docuseries featuring the embattled mogul.
Ahora, lo particular de este documental es que ha sacado a la luz algunas acusaciones nuevas y, en el proceso, ha reavivado otras antiguas. Los productores, de alguna manera, obtuvieron acceso a imágenes privadas de Diddy en una habitación del hotel de Nueva York solo 6 días antes de su arresto. Había contratado a un videógrafo para que grabara todo. Ese metraje muestra a Diddy hablando con su abogado sobre cómo los medios estaban destruyendo su imagen.
We have to find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business. We're losing.
Es raro escuchar a alguien hablar así antes de que caiga una acusación formal. Normalmente conversaciones como esas son privadas. Pero como había un videógrafo en la habitación, los abogados dicen que Diddy podría haber renunciado accidentalmente al privilegio abogado-cliente. Su equipo le dijo después a NBC News que ninguna de esas imágenes estaba autorizada y que no saben cómo Netflix las obtuvo. Afirmaron que el videógrafo que las grabó estaba sujeto a acuerdos que deberían haber mantenido todo en privado.
Why it's coming out now is we wanted to wait, to get through all of the legal proceedings, the criminal trial, and it spans, it's, 4 parts, and it spans over 30 years of, pop culture, his life. So it took some time, to say the least, to put all of this together.
It's an important story, and you could just tell it with all the public material. Mm-hmm. You go further, you've gotten your hands on some extra new material people are going to see for the first time, including this video. Any journalist would want to know how you got it, but it is Sean Diddy Combs in the heat of this, right before the arrest for the trial we just discussed, in private moments, talking to his lawyer, cameras running.
He also underestimated that a lot, some of, with every celebrity, you do have different claims and some are completely unfounded. But I think that some of these lawsuits, there's receipts. Mm-hmm. And there's footage and there's voice recordings. And I think that for a man, it's also very interesting, for the culture of hip hop, so many artists record themselves and they probably, when they were, recording themselves in 2005, never saw the year 2025 and how accessible that media would be to actually make a case for things. And I think that's a big part of the gumbo of Sean Combs and what he's dealing with.
La serie también trae voces del pasado de Diddy, personas que alguna vez trabajaron con él, actuaron con él o estuvieron cerca de él. Aubrey O'Day, de Making the Band, habla sobre su experiencia.
Throughout the Diddy documentary, I'm waiting the whole time for Aubrey O'Day to reveal some major story that happened between her and Diddy. 3 episodes in, she's basically just talking about Diddy in a very general way. It isn't until the 4th episode that Aubrey reveals a witness walked in on Aubrey O'Day completely inebriated with Diddy doing things to her, as well as a second man who they refer to as a light-skinned, tall man. Details are very explicit and not anything I could share on here. This witness revealed that it was 100% Aubrey O'Day. It was really uncertain in watching Aubrey's reaction and kind of resharing this story whether or not she fully recollected the situation. He says it couldn't have been her choice to become inebriated because that was never her issue. She never really drank a whole ton. The earlier parts of this series, Aubrey does reveal these series of emails that she got from Diddy. They were all in very sexual nature, in a very sexual tone. He's basically asking her to come over and do certain things with him. It's these very domineering emails where he's basically setting the tone that he's the boss. She says that she felt very uncomfortable about those emails, and 6 months later, she was fired from Danity Kane.
El cantante Albie Shore, quien en su momento salía con Kim Porter, comparte lo que vio. Roger Barnes, un ex guardaespaldas, dice que fue testigo de cómo Diddy era violento con Cassie. En un momento declaró, cuando lo conocí por primera vez, me caía bien como persona, porque no lo conocía. Luego está Kirk Burrow, cofundador de Bad Boy Records. Trabajó al lado de Diddy durante años y asegura que en su momento era dueño del 25% de la compañía hasta que Diddy supuestamente lo amenazó con un bate de béisbol y lo obligó a firmar la renuncia a su participación. Burrow dice que esa decisión destruyó su vida, quedó vetado en la industria e incluso terminó sin hogar mientras Bad Boy se convertía en un imperio gigantesco.
We were renegotiating Bad Boy. We had gotten over CCNY. It looked like the coast was clear. We were renegotiating with Arista. We were about to get a step up in the money. I had 25% of the company. I didn't know why he needed to get that back from me and then give it back to me again. I didn't understand that. That's like a trick. Like, okay, here, I gave it to you, now give it back, and don't worry, I'm gonna give it right back to you. I didn't want to give it up. So he came into my office one day unexpected, him and Kenny Marsalis, they had it planned out. Kenny had the briefcase with all the stock certificates in it, and Diddy had the bat. Not like I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with the bat, but he had the bat like, man, we got to do this. This has to happen. I didn't feel I was gonna get beat down in that office, in all honesty. I got people that can jump out of the shadows in a minute. I wasn't threatened by him. What I was messed up over was the fact that I started this company with you from day zero, and now the one solid thing that you told me I had, you want to take that back and do a return to me on that at this critical time that we're renegotiating and getting a step up on the contract. When he told me it was about all of that renegotiating and that I should trust, I did, begrudgingly, angry, upset. It wasn't right. I did it. He got the stock back. I went on, tried to get over that, kept doing my job, doing what I had to do, delivering everything. And once again, I was caught up in the job. I forgot all about it. And next thing you know, we had the snafu. I was fired. And he just said, oh, okay, bye. And since he had never given me the stock back, he never said that he would pay me anything or give me anything. He just avoided me all these years. Not only did he avoid me all these years, running high and low, I went on and started working with Mary, who the three of us started out together.
Burrows demandó más tarde, pero el caso fue desestimado porque había pasado demasiado tiempo. Todavía sigue peleando a través de otra demanda hoy en día. El segundo episodio del documento profundiza realmente en la rivalidad entre Bad Boy y Death Row. La tensión contra oeste que cambió el hip hop para siempre. Death Row tenía leyendas como Dr. Dre y más tarde Tupac. Bad Boy tenía a Biggie, Faith Evans, 112 era, y Mace. Pero las personas entrevistadas dijeron algo sorprendente. Los artistas no fueron quienes encendieron el fuego. Dijeron que fueron los ejecutivos, especialmente Combs, quienes siguieron avivando las cosas hasta que toda la situación explotó. Esto confirmó las acusaciones de larga data de Gene Dio, quien llevaba muchísimo tiempo afirmando que Diddy era el responsable de alimentar la guerra.
Puff and Jay-Z ain't gonna have shit to do with it. And look who get rewarded behind that. So, to answer your question, I think the atmosphere that they designed and made up led to what we know was the East Coast, West Coast war. And both of them had some responsibility in that.
Según el documental, la rivalidad entre esos sellos discográficos no se quedó en una simple pelea musical por mucho tiempo. Se convirtió en una guerra de pandilla total. Se dice que los Crips estaban con Bad Boy y Biggie, mientras que los Bloods respaldaban a Suge Knight y Death Row. Y justo en el centro de todo, afirma el documental, estaba Diddy, conectado con el jefe de la droga, Dwayne D. Kiffy D, le dicen hoy en día, a través de Eric Von Zip. Davis actualmente está esperando juicio por el asesinato de Tupac Shakur, y Von Zip, a quien Diddy una vez llamó su tío, era una figura importante en el mundo de las pandillas de Nueva York. En grabaciones mostradas en el documental, junto con comentarios de ex detective de la Los Ángeles Police Department, Kirk creo que se llama, se escucha a Davis explicando cómo él y su sobrino Orlando Anderson llevaron a cabo el tiroteo de Shakur en Las Vegas en 1996. Aunque no podemos mostrarles el metraje de Netflix, sí podemos mostrarle a Keffe D hablando sobre cómo mató a Tupac con sus propias palabras en entrevistas que ya había dado. Aquí va una de ellas.
And he starts blasting. You say Suge looks over, he sees you. He looks right at you.
Yeah, he looks at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then Tupac's busy getting shot. Evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out
in
of
the back seat or something.
Yeah, what do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen a bullet going Suge's head. I thought he was dead.
So Orlando across Dre?
He leaned over on the window. We rolled down the window, popped.
Who was it?
They would drove on my side. I would have popped them. You know what I'm saying? But they was on the other side.
Right.
I'm not gonna go into details on that one. Keep your streets on me. I ain't gonna go into detail on that.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and read from the book.
Well,
so
let them buy the book then.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna read this passage. The shit was on. Tupac made an erratic move and began to reach down beneath his seat. It was the first and only time in my life that I could relate to the police command. Keep your hands where I could see them. Instead, Pac pulled out a strap, and that's when the fireworks started. One of my guys from the back seat grabbed the Glock and started busting back. The first skin shook in the head, and I thought that motherfucker was dead. I had heard some stories, supposedly that Suge used Tupac as a shield when the bullets started flying, but that's some bullshit. Suge was already wounded, and he was the one that got touched. As the rounds continued flying, I ducked down so I wouldn't get hit.
Basically, yeah.
White Cadillac, arm came out the back seat and started letting off.
What went through your head when you saw that?
They shot my nigga.
In Keffe D's 2008 proper agreement, he alleged that Diddy's friend Zip Martin is the one that gave him the weapon that was used to take out Tupac. And Keffe D told the investigator Greg Kading that Zip Martin had a special compartment to keep this weapon in his car that he drove to Las Vegas. And in this documentary, we have Greg Kading confirming that Zip Martin did drive the same type of vehicle that Keffe D alleged to Las Vegas this night. And then during this documentary, we heard from the former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burrow, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said, in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind taking out Tupac.
David también afirmó que Diddy había acordado pagarle a él y a otros miembros de la pandilla para eliminar a Tupac y a Suge Knight, quien iba en el mismo carro la noche del tiroteo. Pero según Davis, el dinero nunca llegó. Dijo que parte del motivo fue que Knight sobrevivió y parte fue que el dinero se perdió en algún punto con Von Zip, quien desde entonces ha fallecido.
You know, there was the rumor that after Pac got Puffy gave Zip $1 million that was supposed to be handed over, and Zip ended up keeping it. And I remember when I interviewed TK Kirkland, who was actually roommates with Zip at one point. They were that close. He actually said, yeah.
The feds said that too.
He said that actually happened. Well, the story that has circulated was that after Tupac got, Puffy allegedly gave the money.
I heard
to Zip.
Yes.
And Zip was supposed to give the money to Keffe and them.
Yes.
But he never gave the money to him.
But thank God he never gave him the money, right? Think about it. If he gave the money, Puffy will be in prison now, money for hire, So thank God. It's just a true story. I'm not saying yes or no, but if he would have gave them the money, it'd have been for hire and Puffy would be locked up.
FBI said he's a dirty motherfucker.
Burrow dijo que Diddy incluso presionó a Biggie para que volara a Los Ángeles a promocionar su álbum, aunque Biggie no quería hacerlo. Ese viaje terminó en tragedia cuando Biggie fue asesinado en 1997. Burrows afirmó que él mismo condujo a Biggie hacia su muerte y que más tarde Diddy mintió al decir que el viaje había sido idea de Biggie y no suya.
Had Kirk Burrow even speaking on the situation with Biggie, how he was the one in charge of planning this London media trip for Biggie that he was supposed to be on the night that he was actually unalived. Kirk Burrow claims Diddy is the one that canceled this trip and Biggie did not want to go out to Los Angeles. And Kirk Burrow feels like Diddy should be responsible for what happened to Biggie. What Kirk Burrow alleged next is what's really chilling. He said something that we have heard alleged many times, and he said that Biggie was actually leaving Bad Boy Records shortly before he passed away. Kirk Burrows alleged that Biggie already signed the paperwork to get out from underneath Bad Boy. Then Kirk Burrows went on to allege that after Biggie passed away, Diddy came to him and told him to change the terms in the contract that Biggie signed. And he claimed that he was so calculated that he told Kirk Burrows to just switch out the middle pages. That way on the last page, Biggie's signature would still be there. That way Diddy could allegedly keep racking up money from Biggie.
Kirk Burrow también ha revelado previamente que la relación entre Diddy y Biggie no era en lo absoluto como Diddy la pintó. No eran amigos y Diddy ciertamente no quería a Biggie vivo.
What idea was it, man, for Biggie to go to LA so soon, knowing that Tupac got killed 6 months earlier?
The award show season was up. We had to go out there to participate in that. We had records that were nominated. We were a budding, launching company that already launched and we were successful. We could not go, but Biggie did have an inconvenience. He had a car accident. I think it was in Brooklyn, maybe downtown Brooklyn. He had a broken femur at that time, and he was recovering from that. Big-sized person, could not really sit comfortably in a plane, not even first class, with a cast on. It was uncomfortable. He was talked into going to the LA portion of the trip so that he could be out there ahead of time. He was out in LA so there wouldn't be a big rush and bustle to get him there. So I think he was out there for a good week and a half ahead of time leading into the event. So being out there, we came to follow up and to have that night. And then he was supposed to, as per Arresta's marketing department, Arista, one of the best labels and distribution companies that you can have to back you. The legendary Clive Davis, who's backed so many artists, believed in Bad Boy so much, he put together a marketing campaign that was never seen before that campaign and still wasn't seen, but it was put together so that Biggie could receive an international press junket in London with all press from around the world meeting him that Saturday, Sunday, after the Friday award show night. He was supposed to go on an international flight with me. We have the itinerary still to this day. He was supposed to leave that early morning, go to London, and we would be out there for 2 or 3 days, and then he would go back to New York and go home. Diddy called Sean P. Diddy, whatever his name was during that time, called late Friday night, early Saturday morning, saying he's not going to London. Call Arista, cancel it. You go. You represent it. You go. He's not going. He wants to stay here in LA.
Kirk continuó explicando que Diddy retiró el presupuesto para la seguridad de Biggie a propósito, para que quedara desprotegido.
You have a budget that flight out. I stayed until Sunday-ish or so, making sure all the interns, all the executives, every last one of the kids that was out there with us was back east. And then we had to make preparations for Big's family to know where he was at, for them to make preparations to bring him back home a week or so later. So that was the job. And then I slowly crept up out of LA.
De hecho, la propia madre de Biggie cree que Diddy tuvo algo que ver con la muerte de su hijo, como se evidencia en su entrevista.
Gene, here go Miss Wallace.
Hey, Miss Wallace, Gene Deal.
I didn't want to hear no more.
Diddy ha negado todas estas acusaciones y tal vez esa sea la única estrategia que le queda a Diddy. Porque si se destapa la tapa de un solo de estos casos, toda su fachada podría derrumbarse.
We have Greg Kading can't wait until Tupac's trial.
Yo le pregunto, ¿ustedes creen que podríamos ver nuevas acciones legales contra Diddy como resultado de este documental? Déjame saber en los comentarios abajo. Yo quiero leerlo para responder.